Hello and welcome. Well, did you know that scientific research confirms that playing outside is beneficial for children, their mental health, and their overall happiness and development? Also, that children who spend more time outdoors just end up happy adults. And just don't we want that for all of our kids? Now, thinking back to our childhood, we each have an abundance of memories enjoying being outdoors and integrating with the natural environments and elements of fresh air, the soil, sun, grass, and trees. So, if you're a parent who has continued your love of the outdoors with an adventuring spirit, and you've just wondered, how can I plan outdoor adventures with my infant or toddler or little one that is enjoyable for the whole family, with a view, of course, of creating new memories, then you're in the right place. Now, today we are going to share 4 tips for outdoor adventuring with infants, toddlers, and little ones with our special guest, Tiffany Droge, now co-founder of Jumply. Now, their mission is to enable to build strong connections with your children through play and adventure and outdoor travel. Now, thanks for joining us, Tiffany. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on. Very excited to, reach out and talk to all your awesome followers today about what we love doing and getting kids outside. And you're right about just being, bringing up happy kids, happy families. That's what we're all about.
100%. Now, you and your husband, Nathan, love the outdoors so much that you created your own range of outdoor gear specifically designed to help support families and their outdoor adventures. Did you realize that, I guess, most of the baby products available in the market, that they just weren't built for being used in the outdoors and weren't maybe as functional as just they needed to be? So I thought, well, why not? We'll just create our own. Is that what happened?
Exactly. So after Tanner, so she's now 4, so the birth of our first daughter was born, we decided that we were like, look, this gear that we're buying, out the beautiful nappy bag, the tote style bag that you're told as a mother, this is what you have to get to be a mother. You've got to get this tote bag. So you're like, okay, I'll go get it. I'll pay a couple of $100, if not more. I won't tell Nathan I paid more. Anyway, to get it. And then I was just like, this isn't working. Like, I'm a PE teacher by trade. I'm active. I've spent time overseas working in the snowfields. I've always been outdoors, the beach and everything. And I'm like, with a family, I just didn't want the adventure to stop. Just because, I had a family and I didn't have the gear to be able to support me along that journey too. So I'm like, that was sort of the brief. We're like, well, why are we lugging this bag around that's not working for us? And it was actually the epiphany moment. I was feeding Tan one night and I just started grabbing a pencil and a paper. I just started sketching the design for our backpack. And I'm like, okay, it needs to have this and that because, mums still need their little mummy gadgets and stuff in the bag. I didn't want to just design a backpack that you could get anywhere. That wasn't what I was about. I was about getting a backpack that also had the baby features mixed in with their outdoor bags. So I guess taking more inspiration from your outdoor stores than your baby brands is sort of where we kind of positioned ourselves. And it's just been rolling from then on. And we were like, well, there's got to be other parents out there too that are just active and want to be out with their kids and they just want a bag they can grab and go and they've got all that they need. So yeah, if that's that's what I guess we've done. And it's just, purely mum innovation. I realized that there was a problem with what was out there and I've just done something about it.
And so many mumpreneur and dadpreneurs out there have, I guess, gone out to buy a product and or a service and they couldn't find it and just thought, well, if it doesn't exist, I'm going to create it. And I think it's inspiration for anyone watching and listening that potentially has their own idea that they're thinking the same thing for themselves as well. Because, I think it's quite inspirational to see what you've actually done and taking that concept into a real life thing that is now sort of helping and changing the lives of more families as well. So congratulations on that. I think it's really inspirational. So that's awesome. And,
Thank you.
and I guess, in an ideal world, children should be spending much more time outdoors just in general than they currently are, as we know. The introduction of technology over the years and our generation has definitely seen that being decreased. And of course, currently the use of screens has contributed to this a great deal. So I just wanted to know just initially what your thoughts are on this overall.
It's a really tricky one. Look, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old and, I own a business too. And I'm going to be honest here, when Chase goes down for a nap, my 2-year-old, I'll pop the tally on for Tan so I can get a bit of work done. But it's not every day as well. I think it's all about the balance, if there is such a thing as a balance. And, you know, just having a bit of screen time and that. And the amount of stuff that Tan picks up from her shows, you know, quite educational shows. I'm like, she
Yes.
knows stuff from watching that. So I don't think it's, you know, it's all totally wasted time. And, you know, kids, you know, when they get to school, like she'll be able to do more than on an iPad than probably what I ever will know. So they're going to need that. And
Absolutely.
to, you know, to be able to get jobs and stuff. So I think it's still important, but monitoring it and making sure that kids aren't, you know, dangerous with technology. I guess one thing, you know, being a high school PE teacher, you know, we see with the sort of year 7s, year 8s, you know, knowing that they're using their technology and stuff correctly for proper uses. So that would just be my thing, you know, monitoring what they're doing all the time. And yeah, it's the world we're going to live in.
I think you really touched on, you know, a really key point, that it is balance. You know, there was an interesting survey and study not too long ago by Dell, you know, the computer company Dell, and a large percentage, I think it was over 80% of the jobs in the future that children of this generation are going to be working in haven't even been created yet. So technology is something that we do need to integrate and have into children's lives, but it is crucially about that balance. And this is what we're sort of talking about today is, you know, on the flip side of the importance of kids understanding, it's just the benefits of outdoor play and how, and just being outdoors in general, I think. So I think you touched on a really important point there. It's just about finding sort of some form of balance. I think that's really important. And, you know, but talking about the benefits of outdoor play, they are widely documented, and they're not only beneficial, but they're crucial for children's healthy brain development. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think, and, you know, why do you think it is such a priority to get kids outdoors?
Yeah, great one. It's all about hands-on learning. Like if you know, you can show them pictures of kids playing in the mud or whatever, right? But to get that feeling, the squelchiness between their fingers, like that, it's that fine motor skill, you know, that they're getting with that, and having sand run through their fingers, that kinesthetic feeling that they're getting is super important, and that you can't get, you know, from, I guess, books and stuff and being inside, obviously, unless you're at a indoor childcare and they've got that inside. That's not what we're talking about here. You know, actually getting them outside into nature and getting them, you know, rugged, feeling that dirty feel. And also, you know, looking at their gross motor skill too, being able to run as fast as they can using their whole body. You can't do that inside. You know, climbing a tree, problem solving, you know, climbing up a tree, and those feelings of, you know, what they're doing and feeling proud of themselves when they're achieving these tasks as well, I think is really important. And they're constantly having all these sensory experiences as well that you don't get from just sitting inside or playing, you know, with their toys. You know, the nature, the sounds that are coming, as I said, the dirt, sand, all that stuff's really important for them. As they're having embodied experiences, I think, that they can't get inside. So getting them out is really good. And look, as you sort of touched on, looking at their overall health, so looking like their social health as well, you know, having a buddy to play with, even just siblings. Like, it's not sometimes enough to just say, yeah, go play outside. Sometimes they do need a friend or some encouragement. You know, all kids are different. So some kids will be happy to go out there and play for hours, just climbing on one tree or playing in the sandpit, right? Where other kids, they do need that social, and social health is so important. Like, we know, you know, moving, you know, through their lifespan, like, social health is really, really important there too. So it really touches on, social, mental, physical health, all those things. Like, get outside and it's going to tick all the boxes, not to mention, obviously, the really good health benefits, you know, looking at cardiovascular health, you know, decreasing obesity and helping, you know, that lifelong physical activity is what, you know, we inspire, all PE teachers inspire to, you know, pass that on to kids. So then, you want an adult who's physically active getting outside, they're going to pass that on to their kid, and then their kid's going to pass it on to their kids. So it's sort of that sustainability. If they're having positive experiences outside, it's more likely they're going to pass that on. So
absolutely,
and then we'll have a healthier world. Fingers crossed.
Well, that falls perfectly into the Kiddipedia mission statement, which is to be able to enable parents to be all they can be, to give it to their children so they can have the life they deserve, so they can then pass it on for their children and generations to come to build a bigger, better Australia. Well, that's our mission statement. So you've basically just relayed that back to us, which is awesome.
Yeah. Perfect synergy. Love it. Perfect synergy. It's what we're about.
Absolutely. But, what you just said is absolutely right. Playing outdoors helps children with their fine motor skills, their hand to eye coordination, muscle strength, and just their overall health and well-being. And of course, during this COVID era of our life, which we all hope is not going to sort of go on forever, this is just going to be one stage, hopefully just a story that we are going to pass down through generations to say this is what we experienced. There is an end date, but it's also, being outdoors is a great social distance activity as well. But, products such as yours that promote physical activity can make a really big difference in the child's development. And physical activity allows children to learn new life skills that involve like different types of movement and just physical activity. But I'd love to know, because you've got 2 kids. So, did you notice that being active with your 2 children helped strengthen their bodies and just overall that helped their coordination too?
Absolutely. Yeah. Getting them outside, like if the sun's out, you're out. Like if it's not raining, you're
sun's
outside.
out, you're out.
Sun's out, you're out. And yeah, like our mission was just, making everything easy. Parenting's hard, right? We know it's you have your days, you're like, oh, I just can't do it. But we just wanted to make parenting just 1% easier, that you can just grab your bag, it's packed, out you go, just for a walk, chuck in the bottom of the pram or jump in the car if you're allowed, whatever's
just get
going
outdoors.
And just get outdoors. And then we started with our nappy backpack, and now we're sort of, developing other accessories that were like, oh, hang on, this would be really cool on your adventure as well. And this and that, and like we're using it. So other people, would like it too. Like, so we did our, a picnic mat, and we've got some sunnies and, hats and just sort of all your outdoor gear that it's
all the
just
good
trying
stuff.
to be that one-stop shop. Yeah. Just to make it easy.
And talking about the developmental benefits of playing outdoors and just the adventures of outdoors, can you maybe just go through what you think that they are overall for children?
Yeah, absolutely. The sun, like it's getting vitamin D. It's got so much health benefits. So looking at your bone density and so decreasing any bone problems, I guess, that they might have later in life. That vitamin D is so important. Decreases affect our heart disease and diabetes and cardiovascular health, issues, just by getting them outside. And one of the best things that I know, get them outside, get the vitamin D into them, right? And they'll be tired and everything. But what sunlight actually does, it's got a hormone called melatonin, and that we sort of call it this sleepy hormone. So it might not necessarily make them sleep through the night, but it can kind of help them get a bit drowsy sooner. So that's why it's also really good to get them out and about in that sunlight. So, that your night routine could that be a little bit easier, given the fact they've got a bit of vitamin D. They've got, the melatonin in them. It's going to kind of kick in to make them a bit drowsy and hopefully make bedtime sooner. Because I know common misconception can be, get them outside, they'll get tired. Yes, they do, 100%. But also there's that other effect too of, the hormone melatonin that they are exposed to during that sun play, I guess too. So why not get them outside?
And there's been a recent study also. We just recorded an interview just recently that the people who have contracted COVID, if they had higher levels of vitamin D in their system, their symptoms were nowhere near as severe as what someone who had lower levels of vitamin D. So it's just more just a one of those trivia quiz things.
Yeah,
I know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So for everyone, I think it's really important for us to have more vitamin D. But overall, I've done some research and have a few sort of on my list as well I'd love to chat to you about. So the first one is the development of gross motor skill development. And of course, as a PE teacher, you would know all about that. But an outdoor environment provides children with, the space that they need to be able to practice big movements or big motor skills such as, running, jumping, galloping, skipping and hopping. So it's really, really great for their gross motor skills. As I said, as a PE teacher, you would know more so than anyone else about that. And of course, the next one, of course, is balance and coordination. So, when playing outdoors, kids can sort of be exposed to uneven surfaces and bumpy sort of surfaces, and even sand can be soft and slippery, and there's going to be slopes or hills that you're going to be going up and down on your adventures and obstacles and things to negotiate around like rocks and gardens and all of these things, of course, we know are built into play equipments in early education centres. So all of these situations will help challenge the child to balance a lot more when they're sort of playing inside, and just sort of help their muscle strength. And talking about strength, the next one is grip strength as well. And having stronger shoulders and arms and hands can help children to have, the strength and control, once again with fine motor stuff, but even with riding and using scissors and that sort of stuff. So initially, what are your thoughts on those? I've got more, but I just wanted to know your thoughts as an ex-PE teacher on those sort of muscle strength things.
Coordination is, so important. Like everything reverts back. As you say, the fine motor, the gross motor, it all comes into coordination. In coordination skill there. So it really is one of those fundamental motor skills that is like at the top of the list
as well.
To make sure that they're covering that, because we want our little people to be active. They're doing their sports and stuff like that on the weekend when we can get back into it, right? So, and coordination is almost the cornerstone of everything you're going to be doing. Building up that coordination of kids. Like we were just out at a park before, and Tan was more keen about just walking along a log. That takes coordination, and it to be able to balance herself, have her arms out while she's doing that. And it's just stuff that it just happens, she wouldn't be able to do that inside at home. Like suddenly she's, up high, she's got a log she's got to climb on, she's working the balance. It's
different
just that,
challenges and obstacles and they could ever experience indoors. Yeah,
opportunities everywhere. Like I said, I was just at an oval just with a friend, and there was a log there, and then the kids were, and there was a clubhouse with a baseball club, and the kids, they just played going up and down the stairs. Like they were running up and down the stairs and around like this little circuit, and then balancing on the log. It's like there wasn't even play equipment or anything there. It's like they just found, kids are very creative beings. They find stuff to do. Like essentially we just had an oval as well, and then they found these other things to climb on, and it was good. They're outside, they're socializing. There was another little friend there as well, small social distancing, if that's the thing with kids. I think the coordination, the fine and gross motor skill, it's so important. And you really want to expose them to as much early on as you can.
As possible, I see 100%.
Because I work a lot with the older kids, so I kind of get sometimes, the kids that you can tell like they haven't had that exposure early on, and they automatically, what always hurt my heart was they've already set in their mind like, I'm not good at PE, so I'm not going to try. It's like, no, well, you can still, you can definitely still do your best and always try, but sometime along the way, it comes with that mental psyche. I guess they've made up their mind, I'm never going to be good at that. But it's not.
But the earlier we can introduce these skills and this opportunity,
positive experience.
Better. Yeah. And then also, as a PE teacher, you'd probably agree with the fact that it can help with attention and behaviour. Children, as we know, are hardwired to move, as you just saying with your kids, and so they, generally they find it hard to sit still and just to concentrate. So, giving children a good dose of physical activity, you might find that their attention and behaviour can improve because they've just burnt off all their energy. Have you found that at all?
Yeah, there's been heaps of studies done on that, saying, looking at different being outside, or like particularly in nature when you're really feeling, what Earth's got to offer. I guess if you can say, out in nature, it does have better benefits for focus and attention. For kids in the classroom. And whenever I could, if I was doing like PE theory or whatever, I'd try and get them outside. Like we just go sit on an oval and do our class out there. And the kids they kind of think like, oh, this is really cool. Like they actually, you'd think they'd run away and they would just go and play, but they did focus. Like you kind of pick and choose sometimes your classes that you would do it to. And then kids like it. You wouldn't do it every class, obviously, but just that thing to break it up, and so get them outside sitting on the grass and and break it up, because it's just so important to get them.
Overall, it's really great for like creativity and problem solving too. I hear that the outdoor environment can be considered a blank canvas with lots of opportunity for creative play and problem solving as well. So, sticks can become fishing lines or swords or walking sticks, or like you said before, like a balance beam or something as well.
Mm.
And even a long spoon for storing mud. A stick can be lots of different things, or mud pies. I remember making mud pies, and all of those fun things. So the options are really endless as well for creativity. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And seeing it with like Tanner, so my 4-year-old, she's so creative. Like the game that they were playing before, they had Elsa. They had an argument over who was Elsa, who was Anna to start with. And then one of them was, they agreed, one of them was Elsa. Then I think one of them was a fireman. And they were running around up and down these ladders, and yeah, just the creative play. I could see it though. It was so real. And they were so into these games. She was using her powers like whoosh, whoosh. And it was just like, it was going for it in their mind. And then the logs, they were like the castle, and it was just brilliant watching it as a parent, seeing that, and then just giving them that opportunity to just be creative. I think, and turn like we make out the front of our house is like a bird bath. Our neighbour has a bird bath, and we play with them. They've got similar age kids, and they do like a big, like a witch's stew. Like they get all the little flowers, little bits of grass, and they mix it. They're all witches around the stew, and just that. Yeah, it's an object. It's a flower, but no, that's a worm. Like that changing the thing of what they're kind of doing, and it's so important for their development.
Yeah.
I think.
Great examples.
Yeah.
and
Good one.
the next thing is risk taking as well. There's no better place for a child to learn than outdoors, and taking risks and learning the consequences of risk taking than during outdoor play. Of course, when a child climbs up a slippery slope or up a tree, or maybe even onto a trampoline, they're learning about the risk associated with that. And I personally think this is better learnt with your supervision and under parental supervision, and when your child is younger, as you just said earlier, as a result of taking risks when playing outdoors, than when they're older, and for example, when they're allowed to drive a car. So I'd love to know just your thoughts on this point overall.
I think having a controlled environment, obviously, where you can, they're safe, I think, but it is important. I know Tan, she's at that real stage, being 4 years old, like pushing that independence. She's like, I want to do this on my own now. Let me do it. And if she falls, we'll have a little bit of a cuddle. And I guess always just over and not letting her ever try. And that confidence, they're going to take that to school, right? And, we want to grow confident kids that, and also they're going to, speak up when things don't feel right. Like if you've got a confident kid, they're going to be able to, I guess, talk for themselves, and hopefully down the track when something's not right, be like, oh no, actually, I don't think that's the right way to do that, or I think someone might get hurt if we do this. Like it's so building that whole, holistic approach of, raising humans, which, it's an interesting task, isn't it? All we can do is guide them. Yeah.
And of course, the last but not least, of course, is just the fitness and health, which we know, all of the physical activity your child does when outside to help improve their strength, their fitness, their bone density, like you were just saying as well, and just their overall health and well-being. So really, when you dissect it all, there's so many layers, and there's so much that children benefit in just being outdoors much more. And like I was saying, products like yours that give parents the opportunity to be able to make that easier for them to be able to get kids outdoors is just it's really inspirational as well. But I'd love to know from your perspective, why do you think it's so important to nurture an adventuring spirit with children, just in general?
I think, as a kid growing up, they were my best memories, and I just want to be able to pass them on to my kids as well. Like so much of your childhood, you probably won't remember, but you remember the times you went camping or you went to the snow, and those are the times that are just so important, and you do nurture. So I think that's what we're sort of all about, is really creating those great experiences, so that then it's that sustainability thing, right? So that they have those awesome experiences, and then they're going to pass it on to their kids, and then Bob's your uncle, sustainability, right? Just kind of keep going.
Yes, so, pass it down.
100%.
Continuing on from that, we published your article, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. And the title of the article is 4 tips for outdoor adventuring with infants and toddlers. Now, for someone who hasn't read the article yet, can you please just tell us a little bit about the article and just the overall inspiration for the piece?
So we basically wanted to reach out to get our message out that we want to create adventurous families, and have the right gear to kind of get out there. And And basically, a lot of people believe, when you become a parent, life's on hold. And we just sort of wanted to do an article to say, no, it's not on hold. We've got some gear that can help you get out and about, because we know you love adventure and we want you to be able to share that with your kids too. So why not bring them both together, kind of marry them in, and write a good article about how to get out and about with your family and your
Awesome.
your kids. So making it as easy as possible, just to grab the gear and go, I guess. And one thing, like involving them in the process, I think is really important too.
As well.
So giving them a little bit of responsibility. Like I know with Tan, she's got a little backpack that she'll pack a water bottle and a snack and stuff like that into. Make sure, if you're giving that responsibility, make sure, you just do a quick little double check that they've got their water bottle in their hat. So kind of, two main things in there. But also with even Chase, like he knows now to put his water bottle in our backpack. So involving them in that experience and getting out of the house in, I guess, a positive way means, okay, we're leaving the house, everyone's happy, it's not a stressful situation. That's kind of what we're all about. And they like having their little jobs, I think.
I love that.
For when they are leaving the house too. So
And in the article, you share 4 tips to inspire parents to help instill a love for the outdoors in young children. So I'd love to just go through just briefly those with you now. And the first one is about making, I guess, outdoor activity a priority. So I just wanted to maybe just expand on that a little bit.
Yeah. So we have busy weeks, right? So, by the time when life does go back to normal, you've got, kids are in daycare or whatever, during the week or school. So you might only have weekends to kind of make your priority area, your priority time to get out and about with your kids. And also if you want to involve dad in the process or your partner in the process too. So just booking in that time where it's like, a non-negotiable, obviously you've got a weather dependent, right? But making that time to say, okay, this is priority no matter what. We're getting out, we're going to have everything all ready to go the night before. And let's go out on our adventure as priority for this day to get the kids out, have an awesome experience, and have a lot of fun together. So just, almost booking that time, I guess, to say, this is what we're going to do, make it priority and get out and go.
So just reiterating, the first point is start early and make regular outdoor play a priority. The second point is equip yourself with go anywhere kid-friendly gear. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so having gear that I guess is going to work with you and it's actually going to help you on your adventure and be, I guess, a part of the family adventure. So that's how we sort of based the design of our adventure nappy backpack, that we knew would have all the features in there that you would need for sort of a lot of different situations, like traveling, through airports, having passport pockets and having wet dry pockets for going, to the beach and whacking the kids' clothes in there, having separate nappy storage for, cleanliness issues and stuff like that, and water bottle pockets, particularly one on the side. So water is always at the forefront of your mind. So are you going to drink it more? And then the kids know where it is too. So it's, we all need to drink more water. So it's always it's always there for them. So having those sort of pockets externally was really important to us. And the main part that I think makes our bag really cool, that V pocket on the front, it's like a pack and stuff pocket. And that was purely designed because Tanner has this little unicorn teddy, right? A little flat thing with a head. And that was like her thing forever. And that was her little settling thing. So that would always be the last thing that left the house, with us before we went. So I had to just have a pocket. I could just stuff it in. I could see it there. And you could kind of just, just put it in and then go. So everything that was designed about this adventure nappy backpack was purely based on, my experiences as a mum, I guess. So, and we wanted this bag to be rugged, obviously, and it's a water resistant. So if it gets rained on, if it gets snow or whatever, it's okay as well. Yeah.
So what do you think parents should look for in an adventuring bag then?
Something that is like a water resistant shell, it would be really important. So you don't want to worry about getting your stuff wet, particularly if you have like an iPad or, if you're traveling, you've got an iPad or a computer in your bag, having a pocket for that too. Mm-hmm. You do have quite valuable stuff in there if you are traveling. So making sure it's water resistant, I would say too. And it has some security sections for fit passports, and also we've got RFID protection, so to preventing the card skimmers. So there's a pocket in there that would block any card skimmers that were trying to steal your identity or information. On a holiday, that would be horrible. Someone steals all your cards too. So having little, I guess, techie features like that, to bring into our modern day life is also good. But hey, at the end of that, it's a nappy bag too. So we've got all the nappy storage and having enough nappies in your bag that you don't want to have to cut your adventure short just because you're like, oh no, I've only got 2 nappies left. So-and-so just done a massive tsunami. That's going to take up 1 nappy, and I've only got 1 left. I still want to be out for another couple of hours. So we want to have enough storage in the backpack that you can stay out all day and you don't even have to worry about it.
What a great idea.
I think we fixed it.
So plenty of internal pockets, including easy access pouch at the front, like you said, is really important. So a separate nappy compartment to maintain hygiene, which is really important throughout the day, of course, like you just said, just depending how many times you change your nappy on your adventure. Water repellents is really important to have that material to protect against sun shower or a downpour if you're out and about and it is raining, and wet dry compartments to keep things fresh and organized, and a washable wipe clean lining as well within the bag itself. Would you say those things are all pretty important?
Yeah, and comfortable as well. Like I know when I was designing it, I was speaking to the manufacturer. I said, okay, so this is the sort of strap design that I want. What's the most amount of foam padding that I can actually put in? Like we're designing a bag for parents to be out for a good couple hours, right? And quite, carrying a decent load as well. So it needed to be comfortable.
As well.
Yeah, parents could do that. So that's why we have like little chest strap and stuff like that in it too, just to make it sit a bit better on your back. So that's where I said at the start, we've taken a lot of inspiration more from your outdoor adventure brands than particularly looking at your baby brands. So
as well. And talking about, you mentioned before about involving kids in the preparation. As we know, kids thrive on modeling their behavior of their parents, and seeing, you as a parent packing your bag, you can begin to teach kids, I guess, the sense of responsibility with their own as well. So I guess, any other points that you've got to share about how parents can best involve an infant who maybe is a little bit too young to carry a backpack? Is it about sort of keeping their hands busy on the trek and being outdoors with, sun smart activities or a walking stick or something like that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Little walking stick, or I know Chase loves picking flowers. Can you pick the most beautiful flower you can find? Give me a flower or something like that. Just to involve them in the nature experience. So I think with Chase, he loves he'll put his water bottle in the side pocket, and also I make sure, can you get your hat for me? And he'll put his hat in. They're kind of his little 2 responsibility. He's only 2, but his little 2 responsibility bits that he puts in. Where Tan, she quite often she just offload her stuff in my bag too. But she'll also have her own little backpack too. And I guess a point on that is, if they do have their own bag, make sure it's it's not too heavy and it's age appropriate for them to be able to carry it.
And you don't put too much heavy stuff in there as well.
Yeah, and that it can't carry it. Then they're like, hey, Mum, you need to carry my backpack. So then suddenly you've got 2 things to carry. That's not what we're trying to achieve here. So make sure, and that's where giving them the responsibility of them packing it themselves is like, oh no, you're packing it. This is your bag. You're responsible for it wherever you put it down or whatever. You've got to make sure it.
Teddy's coming along, and that's the most important thing. The next point as well is tear up the itinerary and embrace unstructured play. Now, as we know, the government have a heap of different health recommendations, and in particular for children aged 1 to 5, they specifically specify that play should allow children to do a whole heap of different things, practice a range of different movements and use their imagination, experience a variety of play spaces, and set up their own sort of play areas and feel empowered when and however they can. So everything that we've spoken about today, with parents getting their kids outdoors and encouraging more outdoor play, pretty much covers everything that the government regulations are actually saying to do. So as the point in your article states, parents should really just tear up the itinerary and just get outdoors and just embrace that unstructured play and just enjoy the fresh air, don't you think?
100%. Yeah, getting outdoors is the best. And you never know where your adventure's going to go. You think that you're going to go one way, and then suddenly something happens. Like, okay, all right, let's go the other way, and they have an amazing time. Quite often, sometimes when you don't, as you say, unstructured play, when you don't have plans, it's like when they have the best experiences too. And that's something is like when we become parents, particularly parents who always love traveling before kids, you can't come at it the same way that you would travel when you didn't have kids. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Like kids, got to factor in nap times, and they need their downtime as well. And you can't do a million different things in one day, jam-packed day full of itinerary. The kids isn't going to handle it. It's going to be a horrible experience. So what I sort of say is just have one activity that you're going to achieve, during that day on your holiday or whatever. Put everything into it, factor around, keep their nap times and everything as usual as possible. Because once again, they're in, they don't know, they're in a unfamiliar environment too.
Yeah.
So keeping, to your routines and stuff can be good. But embracing what whatever happens on your travels and just roll with it.
And I
It's
think,
brilliant.
overall, the more exposure that infants, toddlers, and just children have overall to exploring the wonders of, the outside world, as we just said and have discussed today, are widely beneficial and will spark their cooperation and enthusiasm. And I guess the aim of the game is to give them just some sense of control and establish a positive association with all your outdoor expeditions. So once again, I think your products actually really do that. But for anyone watching and listening today, how would you summarize your key messages?
So we are, our mission is we're creating a adventurous, fun mums and dads that are building their strong connections with their kids through
Mm-hmm.
adventure, play and travel. So that's kind of, I guess, our mission and our mantra. And that's every time we create a new piece of gear, we're like, okay, is this going to hit the mark there? So, so basically we just want to have awesome experiences with our kids. So we're actually about to launch a Kickstarter campaign for our Adventure Baby Carrier. So this is a baby carrier backpack that you put bubs in. So I've started to realise that there weren't many carriers out there that also had good storage. Like I have a big hiking carrier, but it's just massive, and I'm quite small. So I wanted to design something that was for small and compact, lightweight, but also had good storage. You could pop bubs in there. So they also had a good view of the adventure and what was going on. Because quite often when we go to the zoo or places like that, sometimes the banisters are all quite low, and the little one actually misses out if they're not quite up for being out of the pram and walking around on their own yet. They miss out on the action. So having bubs up high would actually help them get in more of the action. So that's actually really exciting. A Kickstarter campaign is launching on October the 19th. You definitely want to keep in touch with what's going on there. So jumply.com.au will have a lot of the information there.
Awesome. And we'll have those links in the show notes as well. Awesome. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
sharing that. And if anyone's got any questions and or want to find out more about Jumply products, whereabouts can they find you guys in?
Yeah, so our website is jumply.com.au and Instagram is at jumply.au, and same as Facebook at jumply.au. And you can always email me, Tiffany at jumply.com.au, to reach out that way.
Awesome. And we'll have all of those links in the show notes. I've really loved chatting to you today. And I've definitely learned a lot as well. So thanks for your time, Tiffany, and all the very best of luck with the business. And no doubt you are going to sort of help make a difference to so many different families and children's lives around the country and of course overseas. So congratulations and well done again. But thanks again for your time. It's been great chatting with you. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.